In this video, we're going to have a candid conversation about UX portfolios, and I'm going to share my 5 top tips to make sure that your UX portfolio really stands out to hiring managers. Hi, my name is Dee, and I've been a UX designer for over 12 years. And the tips I'm going to share with you are from personal experience, from working as a UX designer, hiring UX designers, and helping friends with their UX design portfolios. These tips are the most important and most common mistakes that people make when creating their UX portfolios. Before we get started, if you have any questions about the tips I'm about to share, or if you have any insights from your own portfolio experience, please let us know in the comments below. If you're interested in getting started in UX design and want a flavour of whether it's right for you or not, CareerFoundry have a great free short course, and you can sign up via the link in the description below. Now let's get started and dive into tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to customize your portfolio for the job you're applying for. Even if you're applying for multiple jobs, this means that you should really target the wording, the examples, everything in your portfolio to make sure that the hiring manager looking for someone to hire says, that person is perfect for this job. So if the job description uses words like user research or validation testing or prototyping, or it says exactly this is one of the most common things, it's a UX and UI role, and look through a bit to really highlight what the key things they're looking for are, and then use those words and examples that showcase those things in your portfolio. It sounds really simple, but most people don't do it. Most people just give the same portfolio and the same CV for every single job they're applying for, whether it's a more user researcher focused UX role or a more digital UX UI prototyping role. The same portfolio and the same examples won't make you stand out to these different kinds of jobs. And even if you are applying for those different kinds of jobs, then give a different version of the portfolio to the different applications. So really switch out examples that you have to show. If you have enough examples to show, switch out and show the top 3 examples for user research. And then if you're applying for a role that's more UX UI and more visual, then switch out and show examples where you've done more UI work. So this is really one of the most common mistakes, and also one of the things that will really get your foot in the door and get your portfolio to stand out and get you that interview. So that was tip number 1, customize your portfolio for the job you're applying for. Now let's look at tip number 2, only show examples that you're really proud of. What this means is, especially if you are applying for different types of roles, as I mentioned in tip number 1, means that if you look over the examples that you've got to show, you might need to remove something. And that feels a bit strange to do, because shouldn't you show all the work that you have? So one of those things could actually be detrimental and standing out in a negative way, and actually overshadowing the other great examples that you have in your portfolio. It's much better to have fewer examples that you're really proud of showcasing than have more examples, but some of them aren't quite as good as the others. So what you shouldn't do is just put in every example that you have because you feel like you maybe don't have enough. If you have 3 examples of work in your portfolio, that is enough. If you have more examples, you can put them in, but 4 or 5 examples is really almost too much for someone to look through everything. So if you really feel like you don't have enough examples and you might need one more, instead of choosing something that you're not really proud of to put in your portfolio, take the time to do an extra project on the side or help a friend that might want some UX work done, so that what's in your portfolio really does represent the skills and the good work that you can do today, rather than going back to something that you did a year ago or at the beginning of a course that you took and putting that in just to fill the gaps. It will definitely be worse for you to do that, and you should spend, even if it's a week or a few, to take on some other work, especially if it helps you show a broader range of skills or strengthen any gaps you might feel like there are in your portfolio already. So that was tip number 2, only show examples that you're really proud of. And before we dive into tip number 3, I'd love to know in the comments what areas of your portfolio you feel like you need to strengthen and what areas you're really proud of. Let me know in the comments below. So let's look at tip number 3, which is show a range in your work. This means that Even if you have a few examples of good work, you don't want them to all be showcasing one particular skill. You want to show a bit of a range. Even if you're applying for a role that is quite specialized, maybe it is a pure user research role. You don't want to have all your examples be showcasing the exact same parts of your process or the exact same outcomes. Even if they were for different projects, but they're showcasing the same types of skills and the same types of work, you want to spread those out a bit and showcase different things. So for one example, you might really showcase how you used data, or the tools that you used, or the process that you had of figuring out what user motivations were. In another project, even if it was a similar kind of project, showcase something else. So show how you took user research and applied it to the concept of the product, or show how you did wireframing based on the user research that you got. So the main point here is that even if you're applying for a specialized role, or even if a lot of the work that you've done has been really similar, really try and showcase with your different examples the different parts of your process and the different things you can do. You don't want a hiring manager to look at your portfolio and think you can only do one thing well. So especially if you're applying for roles that are a bit more broad and have a bit of range, then definitely make sure you're showcasing all stages of the UX process and really focusing on the ones that you want to showcase the most. Also in this tip, with showing a range of work, as well as showing different parts of your UX process in the examples that you have, make sure, if you can, that you show the range of different platforms or types of products that you've worked on. So if you have worked on a mobile product, a web product, maybe even a physical product, or different types of things, make sure you highlight and showcase that. A hiring manager wants to see that you've done different types of work, and they can put you in any project and be able to adapt to the situation without too much hand-holding. So that was tip number 3, showing a range of work in your examples. So let's move on to tip number 4, and I've saved the best for the last 2 tips. These last 2 things are the most common mistakes people make with their portfolios. So tip number 4 is, don't show examples in your portfolio of things that you don't want to do in your new job. I have looked over so many UX portfolios in my time, including helping friends with their UX portfolios. And one of the most common pieces of feedback that I have are things like, you told me that you don't want to do user research anymore and you're applying for this new role, but you've given me lots and lots of user research examples of your work in your portfolio. So when I'm looking at this, I think you're a user researcher. So I think the reason why this is a really common mistake is that people want to show off all the work that they've done. They've spent months or years or months in doing courses or a lot of time in projects, and they want to show, look at all the stuff that I've done. But when the hiring manager is looking at your portfolio, they're seeing, great, you'll be great at user research. I'll put you in there, because that's what they're seeing in your portfolio. So as hard as it is to not show work that you've done, it will make sure that you really get the job that you want if you don't show examples of things that you don't want to do anymore. So this is really one of the most common mistakes and easily avoidable. All you have to do is either remove something from your portfolio or shift the angle of it. So even if in this example, that's a real example for the friend of mine's portfolio, even if you've done a lot of user research, but you want to get a job that's a bit less doing user research, just shift the story that you're telling of that project and focus it more on the conceptual work, more on the visual work, more on the things that you want to be doing in your new role. So that was tip number 4. Don't show examples of things that you don't want to do in your next job. And this ties in pretty closely with the first tip. Tip number 1 was customize your portfolio for the role you're applying for. These 2 things tie in and feel similar, but I'll just really clearly explain what they mean. That tip number 1 was customize your portfolio for the job. So if there's a job, you're looking at a job description and you're trying to customize your portfolio to fit that job description, you're seeing words there that say, especially this works great if there's a more open role. So maybe it's a UX UI role. They've mentioned a few words in there that say, this is what we expect the person to do. And you've chosen things or reframed things in your portfolio to make it look like you're the perfect fit for that job description. But the other consideration, and this is what tip number 4 is, don't put in examples that aren't things that you still want to do, is if in that job description, there's a few things mentioned, it's a pretty open role, but for example, in a previous job, you did a lot of user research, and now you're looking and hoping to break away a bit from user research and do more broad UX conceptual work, then you don't want to put in all the examples that show how great you are at user research, because you're kind of balancing what the hiring manager is really looking for, but also the things that you want and the things that will make you happy in your career. And this is where your portfolio is really the thing that you can manipulate, and you can decide exactly how you showcase yourself to get that job that's on offer, and also to get the job that you want for your future. Okay, the last tip, tip number 5. This is a really big one, and this is almost the most important thing you should think about when you start to create or adjust your portfolio. Tip number 5 is tell the story of how you work, not just the examples of your work. To expand on that, telling the story of how you work really means focusing on the process. What steps did you go through? How did you make decisions along the way? What were the options, and why did you go in the direction that you did? Not just showing the end result. This is one of the most common mistakes that people make, is only showing the polished, finished, final product. And with UX design roles, the hiring manager cares a lot less about the beauty of the finished product that you happen to work on than the process of how you got there and how you work as a designer. A great way to show this is using photos or images that show the process and how you work. So things like photos of you running user interviews, even if it's remotely, photos of you running workshops, or screen grabs that really show the evolution of your concept design. So starting from a hand-drawn sketch to a wireframe in a digital tool, to the slow evolution and decisions of how the concepts changed over time, so they can really see how you made those choices. And even better, if you can outline in your storytelling, in your portfolio, why you made those decisions. So the images can go along with writing and text to really almost annotate and story tell how you work and how you got to the final result of a certain product or example. So I hope these 5 tips will help you with your UX portfolio. These tips are all based on my personal experience hiring UX designers and also helping friends with their UX portfolios. And these are the most common and most important things that I see coming up all the time. Please let us know in the comments which of the 5 tips was your favorite and which one was the most valuable for your portfolio. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the CareerFoundry channel. We've got more UX and UI videos just like this coming out every week. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck with your UX portfolio. We'll see you again soon. Okay. Blah. Own your portfolio. Something on the roof. To tip number 4. And to expand on that, don't turn left. Thanks so much for watching, bye.